Do you feel comfortable during long trips by plane? Well, you'd better if you want to fly to or from Australia. Unless you're from New Zealand, I bet you'll have a long journey ahead of you. So, in this video, I'm going to teach you some key words and phrases to make sure you have the smoothest trip possible. Before we get started though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for some more awesome English videos. Alright guys, so we will look at some key words and phrases you may hear or use before boarding your flight and then during your flight. Watch the video until the end though to learn a very useful tip to secure the most comfortable flight possible. Trust me, when you sign up for a 10-hour flight or more, you'll definitely need it. So let's start with some key words and sentences you may need to use or understand before you fly. First place you go to before an international flight is the check-in desk. This is a desk managed by the airline you are flying with, and it is normally labelled with a letter, like A, B, C, L, K, etc. You can find your airline's check-in desk in the big screens you see when you walk into the airport. So let's try to imagine what happens at the check-in desk so we are sure you can have this conversation in English. After getting your passport, the airline staff will likely ask you, what's your final destination? With this question, they want to know the last or final step of your trip, not if you stop anywhere else along the way. So, for example, if your trip is Sydney to Dubai, then Dubai to Paris, then your final destination is Paris. They don't care whether you stop in Dubai or Singapore. They just care about the final place where you will arrive. In this case, Paris. Paris here is your final destination. Second point to discuss at the check-in desk will be your luggage, which is the set of bags and suitcases you are traveling with. There are a few key words here that you should know about. Firstly, you need to know that there are two kinds of luggage: carry-on and check-in. Carry-on is that small suitcase or bag that, as the word says, you can carry on with you on the plane because it's small enough to fit into those overhead compartments in the aeroplane. Check-in luggage, on the other hand, is the heavier luggage that you need to leave with the airline staff and get at your final destination. All right, next important word is scale. Scale is what we use to see how heavy something is. And at the check-in desk, there is a scale just under those big black belts that you see at each counter. The airline staff need to know how heavy your luggage is, so they will probably say something like, "Can you place your suitcase on the scale?" That's when you should put your suitcase on that big black belt. Same goes for your carry-on. They'll say, "Can you place your carry-on on the scale?" Cool! Once your luggage has been checked, the airline staff should give you your boarding pass, as in your ticket. Once you have your boarding pass, you can go through security, where they can scan your bags, then you can find your gate and safely board your flight. Now, next important thing to nail long flights is checking that you are all set as soon as you get on the plane. In long flights, like the one to and from Australia, you should have access to the following: a blanket, an eye mask, earplugs, and headphones. You should always check that you have all these items on your seat. And if you don't, call a flight attendant and say, "Excuse me, can I have," plus whatever it is that is missing. For example, you can say, "Excuse me, can I have a blanket please?" Or, "Excuse me, can I have some earplugs please?" Notice that the two questions are a little different. I use A before blanket, but some before earplugs. This is because the blanket is singular, same as eye mask, but headphones and earplugs are both plural. You see how they end with an S? So, with these two words, we'll need to use some in our question. Can I have some headphones? Can I have some earplugs. Cool! Now that you have everything you need, you also need to check that everything works. Touch a few buttons on your screen and plug in your headphones to make sure that everything works. If there are any problems, again, call a flight attendant. And this time, say this. "Excuse me, my screen is not working. Could you look into it for me?" Or, "Excuse me, my headphones aren't working. Could you look into it for me?" Let's look at what I did there. In the first part, I explain what my problem is. I say that something is not working. Notice here I use is with screen because it is singular, but are with headphones because they are plural. In the second part, I ask for a solution, if anything can be done about it. So I say, "Could you look into it for me?" It means, "Could you help me solve this problem?" In this case, the attendant may offer different solutions. For example, give you a new set of headphones, reset your screen, change your seat, or even offer you a refund if the problem cannot be fixed. In any case, it is important to notify the flight attendants about these issues as soon as you get on the plane so that they can assist you in the best way possible. All right, well, now that you're all set to enjoy your flight, but actually, there is a secret trick that only people who have been on long flights many times know about, and that will improve your flight experience exponentially. I'm going to share it with you in just a second, but before that, let me quickly tell you about why you should come and study with us at English Unlimited. Come and study English in Australia at English Unlimited. We have English schools in the best cities in Australia and some of the best English teachers in the world. You'll have the best time of your life and improve your English. Just click the link in the description below to find out more. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. All right, it's time for our secret trick now. The key to nailing long flights is in the kind of seat that you get. I am sure you know that when you buy your ticket, you can also choose your seat. But obviously, if you do, you have to pay for it. But what if I told you that you could get your favorite seat for free? So before we get into the details, let's talk about the names for the different seats in English. Here are the options you find in long international flights. Window seat, which is obviously next to the window. Aisle seat, again, next to the aisle, which is where you can walk. Then we have central seat, which is between a window and an aisle seat. And lastly, the emergency exit seat, which is obviously next to the emergency exit. And for this reason, has extra leg room, which means extra space for your legs. You will probably agree with me that on a scale from the worst to the best seat, you would probably have a central seat down here, and then window or aisle, depending on preference, and then the emergency exit seat up here at the top, because of the extra space you have to stretch your legs. So now that we know about all the possible seats, I can finally reveal the smart traveler trick. Remember when I told you about what happens at the check-in desk? When they ask you about your final destination and to put your luggage on the scale, well, believe it or not, at this stage, you can also ask them to change the seat that was automatically assigned to you. And yes, I mean for free. So for example, if you like aisle seats like me, then you could ask, is there an aisle seat available by any chance? If you like window seats, you would say, is there a window seat available by any chance? Or if you felt like going for absolute glory, you could say, is there an emergency exit seat available by any chance? Whichever seat you are after, this is a very nice way to ask. It means that you would like that seat, but you also understand that it may not be possible. In my experience, most airline staff will be happy to help if your favourite seat is available. Just a heads up though, be ready for a second choice. If you ask for an emergency exit seat, they are all normally booked out. If that happens, you can just add, "What about an aisle seat then?" Or, "What about a window seat then?" I'm sure that either way you'll score one that's better than a central seat. So there you go. Now you know everything to nail flights to and from Australia. I know it's still super long, but trust me, it becomes a lot more manageable if you know all the words and phrases in this video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, click on the subscribe button below to find out a lot more. My name is Nikita and I will see you soon.